I mean, you are absolutely deserving of all the love, and we are so appreciative of you joining us this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so great because I'm here and look at all these sweet people.
Come on, make some noise. So, we were discussing before all of this how much of a fan of yours we actually are, and we go deep, okay? Like, we cover a lot of things. And I just kind of want to start off with, in terms of acting and finding a voice in that field, what made you kind of decide to look in that direction?
What, for acting?
For acting.
That's real. Nobody's asked me that before.
Wow.
In an odd way, like, the process of acting is where I most feel like myself.
Wow.
Isn't that odd?
Not odd, but there's a beauty to that. You are discerning other characteristics, and therefore better define yourself.
Yes, and I have to, before I play a character, I have to figure out in what ways I'm aligned with the character and in what ways I'm not aligned with the character. I have to discern a very strong point of view. And in order to do that, I need to know myself really well.
Wow.
And so through acting, I've gotten to know myself really well. And of course, there's always more to learn because you're always changing. And then there are certain characters that require you to grow in ways that you thought you weren't ready to grow. And maybe you weren't in your day-to-day life, but when you're acting, you can expand into that character and into their power and into their knowledge. And conversely, like into maybe their bad behavior.
It's all there.
So, which you don't want to take with you, but you know, it's fun to let that out every now and again.
That is amazing. Do we have any aspiring actors in the room at all? Okay.
Oh, it's a divine.
Again.
It's a divine.
Yes. Hear that truth. I mean, sometimes you'll find you in the things that you bring to life.
And then it's really important to define what's not you, so that it doesn't get in your way. Because I've seen sometimes actors will go, well, I wouldn't do that, you know. It's like, well, no, you wouldn't do that, but the character would do that, and maybe that character is doing something that's really awful, but you find a way to dive into that with as much integrity as you can. Yeah.
That's great. Make some noise for that. I think one of the great things about that sentiment is that there's so many things that we see you in, and we love the portrayal, the projection of what you brought to life, but don't necessarily understand the totality of the work that went behind it. Now, I would say the first era of us loving you, the 80s, was such a powerful and prolific time period. Make some noise for the 80s. I mean, we gotta talk about flashdance. It's gotta happen. But when you have a movie like that, in an era where there's this new voice, right? It's kind of like the evolution of a feminism that says, like, I can be proud of who I am as a woman, I can be strong. Obviously, in this movie, you balance so much of what it means to be a woman. Was that something you were aware of when you got the role?
No. Not at all, but I was aware of the strength, I was aware of the sovereignty, and I remember Adrian Lyne, the director, asked me to name my character, and I love the name Alex because it was one of my favorite names, but it was also feminine and masculine,
Yes.
so there was a sense of sort of stereotypical power in being both, in being able to have both things.
That's
like
magic.
to have like a very feminine side, but also this, you know, stereotypical quote unquote stronger side in the 80s anyway, of being able to stand up for yourself, which frankly I think is also very feminine.
Yes.
You know, Kali is feminine, so you know, you don't want to mess with Kali, that's for sure. If anybody's familiar with the Indian goddess,
That's right.
if you're not, go look her up.
Oh,
She's
you
like,
will learn.
you don't want to mess with Kali.
Ever.
For sure.
Ever. That is true.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So when it comes to a role like this, and you have this opportunity of portrayal, were there any things that you kind of challenged yourself on? Can I do this? Obviously, as a super
Every
strong.
day was like,
What?
can I do this? Because I was like 18 or 19 years old. So it's every day, can I do this? Like, I don't know, we'll find out. And there's the whole marathon of being number one on the call sheet in a film. Like there's, you know, you're working 16-hour days, you're maybe sleeping, and you're doing that for months at a time, plus all the dance rehearsal and stuff like that. And also dealing with the shenanigans that were the 80s around you going, huh, why are they behaving that way? They weren't like that before, like even hours ago. What was happening there at lunch? I don't know. So there's having to deal with that.
Such a very polite way of saying, really?
Yeah, so, but it was a really great entree into the world, and Adrian was an amazing director, is an amazing director, and I really cherish working with him.
Make some noise again. Now, in terms of eras, I mean, the 80s is a classic, like, change in cinema. We went to the movies more often, we had home videos. But what were some of your favorite movies of the 80s? Not necessarily that you were in, but just your favorite movies of the time period.
Gosh, I remember E.T.
Really?
was really important to me.
Okay.
Because I was living in Paris, I was really young, and it was right before I got the film, and I didn't know how homesick I was until I saw the movie. Oh, I could cry just even thinking about it right now, you know?
No, sorry.
That really got me, and then I became friends with Melissa Matheson, who wrote the screenplay, and she was just a stellar human and teacher, and she used to let me, she had this beautiful pool, and she would let me, I was training for the triathlon, and she would let me come over and train in her pool, and afterwards we talk about writing, and then I found out she was teaching a class in writing, I want to say at the New School.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you're teaching? I was like, what does that syllabus look like? And then we started talking about writing, and then I started getting the courage to write a little bit, and it was just a really beautiful relationship, and so E.T. is really meaningful to me.
Do we have any other E.T. fans in the room? That's an early 80s classic.
Yeah.
What about moving deeper into the decade? Were there any classic John Hughes movies? Because obviously Flashdance holds a space that is a part of that conversation, where there is a female protagonist, and it's about discerning how life works, sometimes how love works, and overcoming any sort of particular obstacles that have been put her way. Are there any other movies like that you are familiar with?
Gosh, I honestly was reading more. I was like a really big reader.
Put us on. What were you reading?
Like I loved The Outsiders. Like,
Let's go.
And right around then I discovered Gilgamesh, which is a Sumerian epic. If anybody's ever read it, you'd be shocked. But it's really beautiful. Yes, isn't it incredible? It's
Yes,
like this
indeed.
beautiful treatise on friendship and death and how to get through grief. It's a gorgeous book. But name some movies from that period and I'll tell you.
Okay, I mean, obviously, moving a little bit forward, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a classic. Pretty in Pink is a big one.
Yeah, I actually was, Don Steele talked to me about doing Pretty in Pink, and I thought it was a really beautiful script.
Okay.
And I just said, as beautiful as the script is, it's not mine. And I also knew that I had kind of sidestepped playing a high schooler.
Okay.
And I didn't want to go back to that. And I think Molly Ringwald is so phenomenal. Like, that's her movie. I knew it wasn't mine. So.
I think that goes back to what you were saying about discerning who you are, who you're not, and kind of going, no, I'm beyond this point.
Yeah, it's not even beyond. It's not beyond. It's like a taste in my mouth. Like, I know something's mine. Like, Book of Eli, I knew was mine. Devil in a Blue Dress, I knew that was mine.
Oh,
Like, it was mine. And I had to work so hard to get that part. Like, I had to really turn the tables over. But when I read it, like, it's a taste in my mouth. It's so weird. I don't know. There must be some scientific name for that. Maybe synesthesia? I don't know.
A little bit.
Maybe. But I could feel it was mine, and so I fought for it. And Book of Eli was very similar, and yeah. And the L Word was one of those too.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
You gave us like so many things I wanted to talk about first. Let's go Devil in a Blue Dress. for this role, as you said, you worked really hard because you knew that it was yours.
Yeah.
What was something that was challenging once you got the role that might have ever made you go, okay, do I really want this? Is this
Oh,
really
no,
me?
I wanted every minute of it. Like are there children here?
They got it
Probably every minute of it.
Come on, yes.
Like every minute of
Yes.
it, even if I knew it was gonna be hard, like, it was gonna be hard in the most delicious way. Like the way, like when you do hill repeats, when you're running,
Yes.
like that first hill is so ugly, and then the second hill is kinda ugly, the third hill, you're like, yeah, this hill loves me, and this hill is trying to make me stronger. It was like that.
That's awesome.
And, you know, it's Denzel and, you
Yeah,
know,
it's not too bad.
and Carl Franklin.
You can find reasons to get over that hump right there. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I was terrified every single day.
But why? Why? Did you?
Because it meant so much to me. And Denzel was like, if you're not scared, if you're not, you know, you're not in it. Like when I remember when I did the audition, I was so, like I was literally shaking until action, and then I sort of dropped in, and after we were done, he was like, I'll see you in the spring.
Wow.
I was like, I don't believe you, but I'll believe it when my contract is signed. But he's like, I just said, I'm so nervous. And he said, well, if you're not, don't have that feeling, then you're not in it. You know, it's that feeling like when you're at the starting line of a race, and there's like a balance between that, not anxiety, but like, and not quite fear, but the not knowingness,
Right.
and then the dropped in of like, yes, I want this, yes, I can do this, yes, I've trained for this. It's so fun. And it's what makes me like, it's so hard now because I want to find something that's really great. I want to find a project that's really great, and I read things that are, it's like, it's okay, but I want something that I can leap towards, or I have to dive towards it, you know, that's what I want. I want to be afraid
So I
in
have
the best way.
Yes, but I mean, I have to
I'm in
ask.
therapy right now. I'm just like, this is happening.
In that way of wanting to be afraid and challenged in such a way, is it that you have now hit a point where you're not going to be served a role like that, but you'd have to create one?
No, I think they're there. I don't know. I think you also, your sensibility changes.
Okay.
And so what frightens you and is maybe shifts, and what I read now maybe would have terrified me when I was 20 or something.
Okay.
Now I go, no, I need something new, like I need something different to get, you know.
Kind of get you in that challenge space.
So I just have to be patient. I have to be patient.
That's one of the hardest things I think for any creative to get into, is to understand how to wait for those opportunities to reveal themselves. Do you have a practice of meditation or anything that kind of helps you have an understanding of patience of self so that you can use that?
I love your questions so much. Can I just say that? Like, let's just, you know, travel together.
Anytime.
I meditate every day, for sure. And I have been producing, so I've started producing projects, because it's like, if I'm not, and I don't need to be in it, like I just want to go see the story. And Eileen Chaikin, who's the showrunner on the L Word, she and I, along with Pam Druckerman, have started a company called Muck, that's a multimedia production company. And which is artist-led, boundary-breaking. This is the whole point of the company, multi-channel. So I put a lot of my energy into that, and writing every now and again while I'm being patient for the universe to serve up where I'm supposed to be.
I love that.
Yeah.
Again, for any, and I don't want to just put it in for actors, any creative, if you heard what she said, this is a sermon here, I don't know if y'all know this. Be patient, but still be moving.
Yeah.
She says she still writes while waiting.
Yeah.
So whatever that thing is that you want to do in life, find some aspects to step forward in it while you wait for the bigger opportunity. Keep moving though.
Yes, I think creativity begets creativity too.
Yes.
Like I draw as well. They're really not good, but I still draw, and I joined a drawing class at a senior center, which was really fun. And the teacher was so great, and I thought it was supposed to be a beginning drawing class,
Right.
and so I go into the senior center. There's Sid, who's 90, there's like another person who's like 86, 82, and there's me, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll get this, like if we're all beginners. And then I look around at their work, and it's so extraordinary, and they're all like retired graphic designers. And like, I turned to the teacher, I was such a baby, happened, and they were all really sweet, and I was doing my watercolor goldfish. You know? It was fun. But it was really great. Like, and the teacher led me to so many different techniques. Like, I had written this short story, and I want to animate it, but I want to animate it in black and white. And so she introduced me to all these different artists who do that very thing in charcoal. And so I have these fantasies of doing that, and I'm trying, but I don't know if that's
You're getting it. Every step.
Okay. But this is the point. Like, creativity begets creativity.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so proud of you for this journey. Like, this is
Oh,
awesome.
thank you.
I love that.
Thank you, doctor.
So you mentioned the L word, and in an era, the 90s, we're in this era now of change and acceptance kind of being a growing norm. You're taking on this role truly iconic to the LGBTQ plus community and kind of making a statement of feasibility of voices.
Mm-hmm.
When you get this role, now obviously, you've had times of acting, things like that, but now you have an understanding of, wait, now I'm actually saying something very specifically with the roles that I take. Was that part of your decision, or was it just a great character in a great series that you were just happy to be a part of?
I think it's all of those things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a very clear knowledge that I was saying something with Devil in a Blue Dress,
Yes.
too, and also with Book of Eli, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of different parts. But with the L word, I don't know, it was really very clear. Like, the message is very clear,
Mm-hmm.
that love is love. And sometimes, the best character can be misbehaved too.
Sure.
And wanted to embrace that sort of messiness of Bette,
Yeah.
that she's not perfect at all, but really trying her best to love as deeply as she can. And sometimes that gets her in trouble, for sure.
It does.
But Eileen Chaikin has always been such an amazing creative partner, and talking about how to go forward with that character. Like, even from the very first meeting, I was given the script and asked who did I respond to more, Bette or Tina.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said Bette, and when I met with Eileen, I said, would you consider making the character biracial? Because as much as visibility really matters, like, I haven't really seen myself represented in that way. And she was very open to that and excited about, exploring those themes of otherness within the construct of the storylines.
And I think that's absolutely brilliant, because you're absolutely right. In terms of true representation and bringing authenticity to the role, bringing in the full totality of who you are helps, kind of propel that forward. How exactly do you think that inclusion did change the character from what you initially saw?
Well, I think that it starts to talk about intersectionality in a way that we talk about it now, but we didn't, I don't know, maybe I just was unaware that I wasn't aware maybe, but we didn't talk about it then in ways that I'm aware of anyway. So that was really interesting. And, as much as the lesbian community is not a monolith, like, biraciality is not a monolith, like, people identify differently, and Bette and I aren't necessarily on the exact same page, but it was great to have those conversations with the writers and with the other actors, and it was really interesting. And I think it was really ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
In that way as well.
So, because I'm doing my job, and there was an article that dropped today, that perhaps there is a return to the L word. Are you aware of anything of the sort?
Oh my gosh, what?
Okay. Well said. And there's your answer. There you go. Okay.
Say what?
What I did. I told you. Exactly.
I just think those people who want the L word back should be messaging Showtime, like 24/7.
Understood.
Tell them.
24/7.
Tell them now.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah, every day, 3 times a day. Okay, it's kind of important. But I think that's such a wonderful thing because again, it also speaks to the truth that the conversation is not over, and that the reality of everyone from different walks of life is not just so concretely finite in a season, in a series. We can keep going and see how that changes.
Yes,
as
that's
well.
the most exciting thing. Like,
Yes.
it's so exciting, and it's so exciting to see how different generations, well, especially newer generations, younger generations, are change language,
Yes.
change pronouns, change, like demanded to be addressed in the way they see themselves, the way they experience themselves, rather than being dictated to.
Yes.
Like, and I love the sovereignty in that. You know, who am I to tell you what your experience should be? Please tell me what is your experience and how you want me to address you, because it doesn't affect me at all. Like, I just want everybody to have their own space where they feel fully themselves, because if everybody is feeling fully and authentically themselves, it gives the next person permission to feel fully and authentically themselves, and then the possibility for evolution is that much greater as a community at large. Does that make sense?
Please make it. The place that you're describing, I want to go to there and live there all the time.
It's called Canada.
Realer words have never been spoken. And on that note, to kind of pivot into the book of Eli, because I guess we're kind of in a dangerous position of leading into a world that kind of is like that. To get this role, you're pairing back up with Denzel Washington. By chance, did he give you that same line, "I'll see you in the spring," or was it a different sort of outcome for this audition?
Yeah, it was different. It wasn't quite as many hoops.
Okay.
But I was just so thrilled. Like, every day was I was so thrilled. Like, I was making, in the story, it's this post-apocalyptic story, and my character is blind, but we live in the desert, water is at a premium, and I decided I was playing this queen who had lost her crown. And I was making my own jewelry. Like, I made my own jewelry. I had such a great relationship with the costume designer. Gary Oldman is just the most delicious, delightful being you can possibly imagine. In between scenes of him, like, trying to beat me up, we're singing songs from Shady Shady Rain Band. Like, it's really funny. And just a great group, and Mila is wonderful, and I got to work with her again in Luckiest Girl Alive.
Absolutely.
And it was just heaven. And I'm in New Mexico. Like, I love New Mexico. It's, I think, one of my favorite states, if not my favorite state.
I love it.
So it was just an all-around good time.
Has anyone not seen the Book of Eli?
Feel free to raise your hand. Like, don't worry. Like, nobody's gonna judge you.
Okay.
Yeah, watch it. It's really, like, they're so good. Denzel's amazing.
Phenomenal.
Gary's amazing.
Yes.
The Hughes brothers are such great directors.
I have a question. I don't want to spoil the end in asking this question. Though clearly Denzel plays Eli, the protagonist of this story, but I think at the end, truly,
Claudia has the secret.
You win. Oh. That's my, like, when that happens, and I was like, that's what you get. That's what you get. Right
there. That's right. Oh my God, I love that.
What a great, like, comeuppance of a power shift, where in so much of what Gary Oldman's phenomenal portrayal of just dastardliness, he is reduced.
Yeah.
And again, a credit to him as an actor to truly capture what that looks like, to be on high and then be laid low, but for you also to reflect a person who seemingly has been beat down, done dirty, but then
my daughter's done dirty. I'm like, child, do not mess. So Claudia was like, oh no.
But the glow you bring and just the subtlety of realizing what it is that he now needs of you.
Yes.
Is absolutely amazing.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, watch it, because the last one is so fun.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this because I get to relive stuff too. Yeah, it's fun.
Awesome. Book of Boba Fett.
Oh.
You're about the books. I love you about the books.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Yeah.
Were you a Star Wars fan previously?
Oh, I love Star Wars. Like, it's really, I know some people in the audience have heard me say this, but it's like where like as a kid, like I wanted to know who God was. Like I was obsessed with knowing who God was, and I would read the Bible. Like as soon as I could read, basically, I was like consumed by the Bible. And my mom, who had been raised Catholic, I asked her first I asked her if I could go to Hebrew school because all my friends were Jewish, and she's like, "No, you're not Jewish. You can't go to Hebrew school." And I was like, "Well, can I go to Sunday school?" And she goes, "No, I don't want you anywhere near the nuns." But I thought there was like a secret language. Like I wanted to know this secret, and because I could sense certain things, like especially because I spent a lot of time by myself when I was a kid, and I'd be out in the field, which was basically the nun's lawn across the street, and but you can sense something. As you spend a lot of time in nature, you sense something, and you can't name it as a kid, and I don't even know if you can name it as an adult. But when I heard about the Force, when they were talking about the Force, I was like, that's it. Like that's this thing.
Of course.
That's it. And I got really excited.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Okay, so the opportunity comes to you. You get to be a part of Star Wars.
I remember the moment. Like I was just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'll do whatever it is. I don't care. Like I just want to be in that universe. And then it's this great part with these amazing showrunners, but I feel like it's a karmic honor to be in Star Wars. Like that's how I feel.
You've earned it, absolutely, you've earned it. But my biggest question to you is, in terms of filmmaking of sorts, there's a lot of changes that have happened in the industry from when you started to getting onto Book of Boba Fett. What was the most amazing piece of technological advance that you got to experience?
Well, all those screens, like where you get to see the actual thing. Like
right.
I thought, oh, we're going to be working with green screens, and I will have to be imagining things that aren't there, and that was not true. Like everything was there.
That's right.
It was so cool.
When you worked in the volume, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you are acting and you get to actually experience things, does that allow for you in terms of craft to kind of turn off we'll call it the imagination part, where you just have to dream something up, and you get to live in it a little deeper because it's right there?
Well, I think you could still live in it deeply, but it just takes one step away, and it allows you to react to not something that's in your imagination, but that is in the filmmaking, what the audience will actually see. And so it makes it that much more specific. But still, your main scene partner is that other human being that's not computer generated, and it's still a human experience, which is so fun.
I love that. I absolutely love that. There are a few characters that you brought to life that are a little bit of rule breakers. I think I'd like to break some rules right now, if that's all right with you. We are supposed to do pre-submitted questions and not go to live audience questions. Is it okay that we get like 3 or 4 live audience questions in this panel right now?
Yeah, sure. If somebody doesn't mind me saying, I'm not going to answer that.
Hey, you heard the word, right? You heard the word. So we've got a microphone over here. Come up to the microphone. Just be prepared. Beals doesn't want to answer. If you get no answer. All right. Oh, we also have one on this side too.
Oh, Barbara, there's one open.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, we'll start with you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, I know you probably hoped that the award would be a meaningful and big success, but did you feel it? Did you know it? Or did you were you more excited as it went along and you were like, can't believe it's actually happening?
Well, I knew, for me, the definition of success is if it was helpful to people, and I knew it when I started getting fan letters where people were mirroring back to me what I had hoped for the show. And in my mind, I wanted to do it for that queer young girl who was in the middle of nowhere, who had perhaps no access to her community, and could find some kind of reflection back to herself, even in a fictional piece of work. And when I started getting letters to that effect, I went, okay, all right, so we've done something meaningful, and we've done something that can perhaps move the needle in culture, and if nothing else, be helpful to people in individual exploration of identity and understanding who they are.
Thank
Great
you.
question. Thank you. We're gonna bounce back and forth. Hello.
Hi. Mine's not that deep. I just want to know, where is your dad from in Texas?
Oh, he's from Orange, Texas. East Texas, on the border of Louisiana.
Hey.
Yeah.
And have you gotten your Texas barbecue?
I have not. And my friend's really mad at me. I told her last night, like, I sent her a picture of, like, I had a watermelon, you know, I didn't have a knife, which was interesting, but I had this gigantic half a watermelon, and I was trying to, yes, that's exactly what I did, and broke it like it was a rock or something. And she said, I am so disappointed in you. You need to go get some, you should be in a food coma right now, like from Texas barbecue. Yeah.
There we go. Hello.
Hi, I wanted to know if you remember when you auditioned for Flashdance. Do you remember the year or the month?
Oh gosh, I don't remember the year, but I remember there were several auditions, and the first one was in New York City. I want to say it was the summer of '82.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think so, and I hadn't eaten. Like I flew in from Paris. I was living in Paris, and I flew in, and my luggage was lost, and I had just basically the clothes that I had on, and I was supposed to be seen the next. I stayed in the 92nd Street Y. I think it was the 92nd Street Y. There was a Y uptown. I stayed in the Y. I was supposed to audition the next day, and I had just enough money for that, and they were like, "Oh, can you come back in a couple of days?" What am I gonna do? Say no? Like I was 19 or 18, whatever I was. And so I remember I slept in the park, and because I didn't have money for rent, I literally had a pint of blueberries or something. Like why I chose blueberries, I don't know. I don't know. They were pretty. But yeah.
I have a funny story. I was a model at that time in Tokyo
Okay.
in January of '84, and I was at my agency and I was looking through a book of Polaroids, and I looked at this one, and it's from Paris, and I go, "That's Jennifer Beals."
What's the name of the agent?
With, I believe it was Tokyo, and she goes, "Yes, her name is Jennifer. I remember her, but she hadn't accepted, hadn't taken you." And I thought this was a blessing in disguise because you would not have been able to audition.
What's the
You would
name
have
of the
been.
agency?
I think it was called Myth.
In Japan? No, I didn't model in Japan.
No, I know you didn't because
I wish I
she had the
That would have
Polaroid.
been amazing.
They were looking for you. That's
They
what it was.
Yeah, no.
But I mean,
yeah,
they would have missed the
I was with
audition.
Zoli. That's who it was.
Right.
Because Zoli was the only one in the 80s who would take all the people who looked other, you know? Everybody else was wanting, you know, like blonde, blue-eyed. And I did stay at Eileen Ford's house for a summer, and she was really nice.
Awesome.
But anyway.
But anyway, I just want to say it was fortuitous.
I hope you took the Polaroid.
I didn't. But she felt really dumb that she hadn't accepted you. Not, I don't mean accept you, but I mean.
No, she shouldn't feel dumb. Everybody has their, whatever their thing
Right.
is. And I'm grateful she didn't, because I wouldn't be here with
Exactly.
y'all.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you for that. That's awesome. Hello.
Hello. So,
hi there.
how you doing?
Hi, stranger.
Yeah, I know. This goes back a little ways, so we're gonna go backwards and then a little bit of the other word. I watched again the other day for, I don't know how many times, Let It Be Me.
Okay.
A little film that I just happen to adore. And one of the things that I adore the most is the ending of the film, where you dance with Campbell Scott.
Oh, yeah.
And you've made so many films with Campbell Scott that
Yes.
you clearly have some kind of chemistry, like Roger Dodger as
Yeah, I
well.
love him.
But you dance so well in that scene.
It's true.
Well, thank you.
It's incredible, and then that makes me think of the L-word dance scene. So, you know, I know we don't have to talk about the whole Flashdance thing, but how long did it take to rehearse for something like that
So
scene?
Let It Be
and
Me?
Let It Be Me.
Okay, well, all right. First of all, I love Campbell Scott. I think he's so beautiful, and we've done a bunch of movies together, and we communicate really well, and there's just this beautiful energy that flows between us. But we have very different ways of approaching the dance scene, and I wanted to rehearse all the time. And he's like, well, I want to go be with my family in Connecticut. I was like, okay, well, I'll rehearse over the weekend. And so I got rehearse. And I maybe rehearsed with him once. And I was really nervous that day because we hadn't rehearsed. And I asked the AD during lunch, I go, where's Campbell? Maybe we can do a little rehearsal. He's in his trailer meditating. Okay, I believe in meditation, so what am I gonna say? And he comes out, and he's so perfect, and so soulful, and such a good leader. I mean, I just fell in love with him all over again. Like, I just am madly in love with Campbell Scott. Like, oh, 100%. I would love to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello.
I was wondering what film, TV show, movie was your favorite to be in?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a really hard one. Because I love the totality of the L word. But there's a character named Margot Taft. From The Last Tycoon that I really love. She's really great. And I loved being on the Boba Fett set. Like, there was just an expansiveness that I'd never experienced before. It's funny, I don't think I have a favorite. Like, there's this word, the accretion of time, like when time builds and builds and builds and builds on itself. Like, each part is informed by the part before, and my love of the present part is informed by my love of this past part, because this past part has allowed me to do this current part. So I don't know that I have a favorite, but I do love, I have a very soft spot for Margot Taft.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna try really hard not to just refer to you as Bette because that's what I grew up knowing you as. But just wanted to thank you for your representation and various aspects of the films that you've been a part of, from flash dancing and all the way, of course, to me watching The L Word. You provided a space that allowed me to feel inspired and hopeful for what the future could look like for me as a young scholar. Like, I've gone through and got my PhD and everything, and everyone's always like, so like, we have like Bettes in our midst. They're like, okay, I mean, in some aspects. But I'm curious to know, what, in your experiences being in the role of being in a position of academia, what was that like for you? And aspects of being in the art gallery, working at the university, like what, I don't know, just kind of curious.
Can you repeat that again? I want to make sure I understand the question.
Yes, so your experience in the role as Bette in that position, being in an aspect of like academia at a university, kind of art gallery setting.
Right.
Just curious to know, like, what was that experience like for you? Was it a lot of research you had to do about being in that part of that role, or?
Yes, definitely. Like, I had to understand that aspect of the art world. I mean, I had studied art history at school, so I knew a certain lexicon around talking about art, but that specific kind of role, I had to talk to other people. Like, I talked to Annie Philbin at the Hammer, and she was really generous with her time, so that was very, very helpful. And having the academic aspect of looking at art made me approach the transgressive part of art in a different way. It's not just salacious, you know, there's something else that's at play, which I think got Bette very excited to show that work.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are like down to our last 3 minutes, so we gotta go like super fast. Can we like
I think he's talking to me, like, that's.
Not you, no, not you. I would never do.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm profoundly deaf, and I can't write the interpreter. But Jennifer, how did you learn American Sign Language? It was actually amazing to see you sign with Marley and stuff. I actually felt like I belonged, like in society when you, as the character of Bette and the character of Shirley was on L Word. But how did you learn sign language and do you still know it?
Oh,
Awesome.
thank you. Unfortunately. I had started learning a little bit beforehand because Marley and I are friends, so we used to communicate with that what is it called? It's a I'm looking to you to help me translate it. But when we cast Marley, who I was like please cast Marley. I was hoping that she could be my teacher, but she's super impatient. So Jack her interpreter became more of my teacher. And I just really loved acting with sign language because it's so physical, and I just loved it. It's incredibly freeing. And unfortunately, I've forgotten a lot. But I'd love to get another. Yeah, exactly. I'd love to get another part with sign language. It would be really fun. And American Sign Language, because there's different dialects.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Like you go to somebody in the UK and you start signing American Sign Language and they don't necessarily know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
This might be our last one, but we'll see how fast we can get through. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Wow, thank you.
Before you prepare for a part, is there some type of meditation process or like a healing vortex or like a place that you like to visit to make sure that you're like ready for the role?
Well, that's really interesting. Some of that's a secret.
It's fair.
But I do meditate and I'll ask a question and see sometimes what comes up in the meditation. But I approach it different. I think different roles are approached differently sometimes, but it's really about getting the text down and learning what I can from the text, and then learning what I can from my own imagination and whatever the universe wants to send my way. But sometimes dream work, I'll use dream work, some meditation, writing. I'll write a lot about the character through their voice.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, drawings, sometimes I'll do drawings. But like we were talking about before, creativity begets creativity, and so they all like lead to one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun. Thank you for that question.
Great.
Thank you very much.
We have these two left in line. Would you like to try to get through?
Yeah, sure.
Hi Jennifer, my name is David. I've been a fan since the L Word. I love
Thank
you.
you.
I adore you. What are some of your favorite and least favorite storylines in the show, either revolving around your character or some stories maybe that you wanted to have explored that the show should have explored, or?
Oh, I would never should. I'm the writer. Because I respect them so much. But what were my favorite storylines? Well, there's second season where Bette can't catch a break.
Well,
And I realized, it was so painful at the time, but I realized it was really smart writing because, you gotta beat up your protagonist
Yes.
to make it interesting. So I was really, in retrospect, really grateful for that time. And I'm really glad, though, having said that, in Generation Q, that Bette and Tina find a way back to because I think the community gets enough, being gay is hard and you will be punished kind of story. Like, it's like joy is a radical thing. Joy is revolutionary. Joy, its sovereignty is implicit in joy. So I love that we were able to do that. Yeah, I don't know what else. Is that satisfying?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
and our very last one.
Oh, somebody's dressed like somebody I know.
This is hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
This is a silly question, so I'll be quick. I know this is the year of the witch with Wicked, Agatha all along. There's practical magic coming up. You said that you wanted to play a witch.
Yes, I
that
did.
would be a really. What sort of witch would you like to play? Like, what scene? I can see like a forest witch.
Yeah, for a warrior forest witch.
Yes.
Like, a little revenge would be good.
Okay.
I see revenge. I see righting wrongs.
Thank you so
I
much.
see using the earth energy to right some wrongs.
It has been a true honor to share this time
Oh
with
my
you.
gosh, it's been such a pleasure. You're terrific. Thank you.
Fan Expo Dallas. Join me one more time.
Thank you all so much.
exit that way, but come see her at her booth. Get autographs, photos, all that good